Welcome. This is Jane Gardner, and welcome to Solopreneur Success Strategies TV. I'd like to welcome you to World Domination Wednesday here at jane-gardner.com/SSS. Today we're going to talk about who is your customer, and welcome. Hi. Here I am. And I want to tell you first who I am. I've already had one episode when I explained to you that who is your customer? It's not everyone. We all know that, but we like to think that it is everyone, but it's not everyone. So today we're going to look at defining who your customer is and some places that you can go on the internet to find out. But first off, I guess I better tell you who I am. I'm Jane Gardner, and I work with my husband in our engineering firm here in Western Canada, and we have dogs, and we travel, and I'm an artist, and I like to do memes on the internet. We've been doing our engineering home-based business for about almost 20 years, and I've been out on for 3 years now on the internet to see if there's a business that I can help other people learn how to have a home-based business, because the freedom of a home-based business can be challenging, but it can be a lot of fun and give you the freedom that you want in your life if you, of course, work, because it is a business. But I just wanted to say I do have a few websites, and you'll get to know a bit more about me as we go along here on World Domination Wednesday, which is today, Wednesday. Now, I don't want to think that I just told you your customer is not everyone, that I want to dominate the world. No, this is all about creating your world for having your customers come to you. So we need to find out, first off, who are your customers. So the training for today is knowing, do you know what your customer wants? And do you know your customer's challenges? And do you know their needs? And do you know what pressures they're having in their life? Well, we're going to be working on that for a few weeks, because it's not something that you can simply just do in 15 minutes. So World Domination Wednesday is all about you and your customers. It's knowing how to define what your customer wants, give your customer what they want, keep those customers, and keep growing your business with more customers, because you have all these wonderful, happy customers who love your customer service, etc. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things on this show, because I think the customer is actually defines your business. And I'm finding myself, after being on 3 years on the internet, that what I thought was my business is turning out to maybe not be my business. And in fact, it's being defined by what my customers want. So let's have a look at the training of the day. And let's see if I get the place right. Yes, it's World Domination Wednesday. And we're going to look at defining your world. And as I mentioned already, I think we can skip this one. But if I was doing a presentation, we would be talking about who I am. And I hope to think that you'll feel I have some knowledge about customers, since I've been dealing with them for 18 to 20 years. And I have quite a few stories about horrifying customers, which we will talk about in customer service in a few weeks. But for now, we've got to define who customers are for you. Well, we can't really do it for you, because I don't know your business unless you come and talk to me. But for now, I just wanted to tell you that there's 3.3 billion internet users online today. And from those 3.3 billion, your customers are out there waiting for you to give them what they want. So let's have a look at finding out, how do you know what your customer wants and what their challenges are and their needs and their pressures that they're having, and what is going to be your solution. to their problem? Or what is it you going to fulfill their desire for? So we're going to use an example today on, I don't know why I use this one, but I didn't want to use dog training. Everybody uses dog training. I don't know why. I know 50% of people are dog lovers, but that's no excuse. It's too easy. So, for example, well, you might use some more examples as well, but let's just say you want to share your office management training skills with others through doing video trainings and maybe live presentations. For example, you want to teach people how to learn Microsoft Office suite of programs. So you want to look for people who want to get back to the office, for example. So who is your customer? So you have to think about this because, okay, would a mom with a child who needs extra income, did work in an office, but has little time to even think about taking time to go off into an office and be able to work in an office when her children are in school? Well, that's not too many hours. So I don't think, if you're looking to be someone who would train people in Microsoft Office so they can go off and be an assistant in the office, a young mother with children would be one that would work. I mean, they do it, of course, and it's a lot of stress, and it might be a customer, but it's not your ideal customer. So what you want to do when you're working with your defining your customer is figuring out who your ideal customer is. So, for example, a mother who had children who just graduated school and has the freedom to be able to get out of the office to earn income, and did work in an office, but she wants to update her Microsoft Office skills, or she knows nothing about Microsoft Office. And it's been 10 or 15 years since she even has been in an office, so she's anxious about knowing what skills she needs in an office. Well, for example, that would define her as her age being 45 to 65. Obviously, she has no income herself, but her family income might be $70,000, and they want to increase their income. And for now, we'll use the U.S. as it's got a large population. So how are we going to find out if there's any demand that there are people out there looking to be office assistants? Well, we can go on the internet. Here we go. Sorry, I'm just flexing up here. So what we can do is do some research and see, is there any demand for office assistants? And if there are, well, of course, your training to learn Microsoft Office might be something that people would be interested in. So are there competitors out there who are already teaching people Microsoft Office? And also, are the people looking to see if there's any jobs out there as an administrative assistant? Well, of course, there's always jobs for administrative assistants on the internet. It's just whether or not your customers are looking for it. And you have to define your customers. So we've taken young mothers who only have a few hours a day out of the equation. And obviously, you could say men as well. But for now, we're going to use the example of more mature women who are looking to get retrained. So what you do is you go out, and one of the greatest research tools is Google. You can find any questions to be answered on Google. Let's just look at this answer that I already set up for looking at an office assistant salary in the U.S. So there's is that 3 billion or 3 million? Yeah, that's 3 million results on this question. So obviously there are people who are advertising. This is I believe this is an ad. Doesn't look too obvious as an ad. of ideas on, these are some jobs that are out there as office assistants, for example. And then there's pay scales out on the internet on office assistant. And all of these would also have what the experience is required. So there's lots of demand for office assistants, for example. And then what is good about Google search is you can do a lot of it. It's letting you know a lot about, well, this is Canada, by the way, so just ignore the stuff about the whatever. But they let you know a lot about what the questions people are asking. So they've added this new thing in, in the last couple of years, of all the kinds of questions that people are asking on their search. So these are people that are asking, how much does an office assistant make every year? And the salary for administrative assistant, and what is the work of an office assistant? So there's obviously lots of people out there looking for what an office assistant does. So this shows to you that upgrading their skills with Microsoft Office might be in demand. Now, there is a bit of a concern on this. Here, I won't scroll that. Is that there are already people out there serving training for office assistants. So obviously, I don't know what hersing.ca is, but the Academy of Learning Administrative Assistant, ICS, there's other, you can have a look at, this is your competition. And then also there's diplomas in office assistant. Who knew? For example. And I think over on the right there is an ad. Yeah, there's ads, sort of. These are ads related to what is the training of an office assistant. Now, lynda.com is one of these places where they have a lot of trainings. And so obviously they're also promoting it. They're owned by LinkedIn now, so they want to try and get more people to use lynda.com. Outsource office staffing, that's something else. And then there's more assistant training, and they're advertising. So there is demand for training an office assistant, and so there must also be training in Microsoft Office. Well, that would be lynda.com, for example. So Microsoft Office of Suites. I'll just do this for you live so you know. Courses. So Yahoo and Google are a good place for searching for who your customers are. What you can do, and this is a strategy and a tip, is go to lynda.com. I don't want to go now, but you can go there and have a look at what they're saying about their office program and just see if this is really at all like your training and whether or not you can make yours unique, which of course you have to. You have to differentiate from other courses. Now, lynda.com might be out of date. For example, you don't know until you have a look at their course. They may not have one for office assistants for medical offices, or office assistants for dental offices, or you could specialize and differentiate from lynda.com, for example. So this is good research for you on just your competition, which we were going to talk about later, but what the heck. We're going to talk about it now. So I should have made a slide, but basically maybe I'll make a slide, a summary for next week. A lot of time you can do a lot of research just by looking at Yahoo. It would be .com for you. It's .ca in Canada, and or google.com. You can do a research. Now, here's one that you may not have thought of, is looking in magazines. This is the Home Business Magazine on the internet. And of course, they always want advertisers, so they have what is called Media Kit. And in this Media Kit, of course, they tell all this research about what they do, the formats that they have, digital as well as the print, and how many subscribers they have, et cetera, and also, of course, what the ads cost. But what you're especially interested in is the demographics of the people who are in looking at Home Business Magazine. Now, let me just see if I can make this bigger, because we want to have a look at the demographics. There we go. Except I'm in the way. Let's see how we can move me over. How about that? Move me down. We're gonna make me smaller. Excuse me. There we go. So 44% female and 55% male subscribe to Home Business Magazine. So that means they're looking for a home business. And let's look at the age group. Let's see. Can you see that? No, not really. Let's make it a little bigger. There we go. So let's see if our 45 to 65 are looking at subscribing to Home Business Magazine. As you can see, it's age 35 to 54. 52% of their subscribers are that age group. So they're looking for a home business. So what I should look for is an office assistant magazine for you. Maybe next week, but it's a kind of a boring one, isn't it, really? But I mean, there are people who need to be an office assistant, so that's maybe why people use dog training, because everybody loves dogs. Anyway, so and then for this magazine there, they have even the income, and these are true probably from a survey that they did of their readers. So 50%, 75, no, 70, what's the better one? Above 50,000 are 50% of the people. And they have attended college or better, so they're educated. And they use their desktop computer and cell phone mostly. Well, no, these mostly. And only 41, sorry about that. Only 41% of them have a business, whereas 70% of them plan to start a new business. And part-time businesses planning to go full-time is 75% as well. And 94% of them, of course, are internet users, in that they, of course, subscribe to this magazine, which is on the internet. So what does this mean for our client, possible customer, is that maybe you might consider seeing if you can get in contact with them in some way on social media. But you could certainly advertise in the Home Business Magazine for upgrading their Microsoft Office training skills in order for them to even be in home business. Actually, come to think of it, I use my Microsoft Office quite a bit. So yeah, so this is 3 ways that you can use to try and find who your customers are and what they want. Certainly there are, how many? 70% of home business subscribers, and there are 100,000 Home Business Magazine subscribers are planning to start their own business. So if you're someone who wants to do training for people so that they can start their own business, or if they want to get some training in office software, this would be a good magazine maybe to advertise in, or to look at contacting and finding their Facebook page. But we'll go on that maybe next week and find out on Facebook where they are and where they're hanging out. And I might have a different example next week, probably with the same customer, because that's quite a good customer for looking at research, because they are looking at lots of changes in their life, and they certainly have the income to spend as they get older, hopefully. But for now, they need to make more income. So, well, I gave you 3, okay? There's three ways to look at researching who your customer is. 1, Google Plus, a Google search, a Yahoo search, and magazine magazine. What you look for are the media kits, magazine media kits. Even on the internet, sometimes they will have them for you to download, because they want you to advertise as an advertiser. So I hope you found this useful. We're starting to have a look at who is your customer, how you can find out what they want. Obviously, that hasn't helped you too much as to what they want, but it certainly shows that there's a need to get out there and find your customer in various ways and do the research to find out if you know who your customer is. And I'll have a slideshow on the various things that you have to look for. But for today, I just thought I would start showing that it is possible to find out who is your customer. You just have to first, of course, decide what is it your business is, really, and is it something that people want? So from this today, you can certainly see that there is a need for a Microsoft Office training, because there are competitors out there, because there are people asking the question what Office assistant salaries are, so they must need training in an Office software. Easy one today. Maybe I'll try motorcycle art next week. That's really hard, because motorcyclists aren't usually on the internet because they're too busy driving. See you next week. Please subscribe to Solopreneur Success Strategies TV.com, at jane-gardner.com /SSS, where we look at ways to research your customers and then find out who they are, and then give them what they want and keep them happy. Thank you.